Friends, family see on a sheet. Procession has commenced. Please let's be please thank you so much. You see the University of Calabarzon. Please still standing. Thanks. We the prophets of Nigeria's fight and the will ever hold me. We are calling for I think I'm right. Oh, Lord, I don't feel like oh, even though we are Thank you so much. You may please take our seats. It is my delight and pleasure to welcome all of us the present after the festivities to the first inaugural lecture of the year, the 133rd inaugural lecture. Please, before we go into the lecture proper, we are going to do something unique. Now look at your neighbor. We are seeing ourselves for the first time this year. Tell your neighbor with a big smile, Happy New Year. Your neighbor is not smiling, withdraw the Happy New Year, withdraw the wish. Ensure that your neighbor is smiling. If there is no smile, please take back your wish. Happy New Year to all of us. Thank you so much. May I welcome us again to the 133rd inaugural lecture. As you all know, inaugural lecture is a forum where professors showcase their knowledge for the past years. It is a forum between texts in university after kind of series of research. At this point, before I go into further details of the lecture, may I recognize members of the high table. Permit me to recognize the president, the vice chancellor of this university, Professor Flores, who is ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Inaugural. Can we put our hands together for her? And I also recognize Sierra Leone Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Tony Young. Please put your hands together. Also to be recognized is the Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Linkages and Collaborations, Professor Peter Okafor. You're welcome, sir. And may I also recognize the Registrar of this great institution. She is on the president, Dr. Mrs. Chukwuka Ita. Please put your hands together for her. Also here present is the Prof, College of Medical Sciences, Professor Ngam. Can we put our hands together for him? And may I honorably recognize also here present the Provost School of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Efanga. Please put your hands together for him. The Chairman Committee of Deans, who is also the Dean of Physical Sciences, Professor Efanga, is there present. Welcome, Madam. This is our faculty. May I also recognize the person to tell us who the inaugural lecturer is, to unravel the shadow behind the lecturer. That's all the person, a professor, Ayi. Sound there, put your hands together for me. And I want to specially introduce you and everybody professor of Inorganic and Coordination Chemistry, Department of Pure and Industrial Chemistry, who is from the Faculty of Physical Sciences and a bonded and expert inaugural lecturer. That's the other person, Professor Offiong Efanga of Young. Directors of institutes, heads of departments here present. And so may I recognize our royal fathers here present. I've also seen the women of Calabasas, Professor Inaugural, and his dear wife. Please put your hands together for them. May I recognize all former vice chancellors here present. I can recognize the Vice Chancellor of High State University, Professor Hussein. You're welcome, sir. And may I also recognize former Vice Chancellor of University of Latvia, Nasarawa State, Professor Hussein. Please put your hands together. And also to recognize High Chief Election here present, Chairman of Parliamentary Forum. Please be recognized. Honorary Doctor that is challenged, be recognized. His Royal Majesty have already recognized the Professor and Elder Professor Itan for my time. Please your recognized. We'll be the of the Foot Nation. Please your recognized. I want to say. Usually you recognize Professor Miranda Bishamu, you recognize Professor. May I firstly recognize the President, Chairman, Ceremonial Committee, Professor Chris Wamo, all party overall lecturers, invited guests, members of the university community, Malabar and Malabarsis. Please, you're all welcome. Can we put our hands together for ourselves? Before we carry on, I need to recognize the immediate family of the inaugural lecturer. His better half is here, his Lord. Yes. My name, you know what you mean from language, the wine, the coverage is full, sugar is Professor and I object. Please put your hands together for me. Now I recognize here present the children, here present, and I come here as I call your names right away to the crowd, turn away. You're welcome, Dr. Offiong, please amen, Offiong. I saw that earlier. Please you all recognize. The siblings are also here present, and Efanga Offiong, and Paul Offiong, and Dr. Bora Offiong, please you recognize his classmate, Hope Model Training Institution Pass Says of 1974, Hope Forever. Special guests also include his mother-in-law and recognized her professor in school and Dr. Nana Joyce, her sister. May I recognize clergy on Pixie, the home, who is representing council members of all of Calabar. These are all recognized. And may I welcome you once again to the 133rd inaugural lecture on the topic metal ions in biochemical and environmental systems, the good and the bad, from the perspective of the coordination chemist. At this point, I need to hand over the microphone to the registrar, Dr. Mrs. Tupuka, to carry on with further questions this inaugural lecture. Can we put our heads together for that?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to call on the Vice Chancellor and Chairman of this occasion, ably represented by the BBC Administration, Professor Efanga, to give her opening remarks.
The inaugural lecturer, the registrar, the Chairman Committee of Deans, from the agencies, and all members of the university management, deans, directors, provosts, professors, lecturers, students, our distinguished guests today, the family, the Offiong family, in-laws, friends, members of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, our royal father and mother, and all other Nigerians that are here from home and abroad. Actually, as the very first inaugural here at this point, other than to welcome you to the University of Calabar on behalf of my Vice Chancellor, Professor Florence Van. She would have loved to be here, but again, many things to ensure that 2025 brings all that we want to be have taken her away. And where she is, I'm sure she's already set to be part of this. So welcome you. This year is a unique year. The year where we celebrate our 50th year as a university. A year where we are gearing up for Lula in 2026. A year where we have just been able to be part of the carnival that ended the year. And this is like crowning it now with this inaugural lecture. I am sure you won't be disappointed. Well, when we are talking about biochemical, the metal ions are biochemical in biochemical and environmental systems. you know that you're going to have a lot to learn. I have come with my pen and my paper, and I tell you that at the end, if the inaugural lecturer will be permitted, we will give a text, and we will know those who actually came to learn. So please enjoy yourselves, clean your ears properly. Make sure that you won't leave this place without something new. And say to yourself, it will be a worthwhile event. Welcome and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite Professor Ayu to read the citation of the warning for the third inaugural lecturer, Professor Offiong, Offiong.
Citation of Professor Offiong, Efanga, Professor of Inorganic and Correlation Chemistry. Professor Offiong, please stand. The Vice Chancellor, University of Calabar, and Chairman of the inaugural lecture, here represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, the Deputy Vice Chancellors here present, members of the University Governing Council, the Registrar of the University of Calabar, other principal officers of the University of Calabar, the Chairperson Committee of Deans, Provost College of Medical Sciences, Provost College of Postgraduate School, Deans of Faculties and Directors of Institutes, eminent past inaugural lecturers, distinguished professors and scholars, heads of departments and units, my lords, spiritual and temporal, special guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Malabites and Malabases. From the cradle, Professor Offiong, Efanga, was fascinated with the life of distinction. When he left primary school at the age of 11, he went away with a certificate of distinction. At the famous Top Model Training Institution, Calabar, he passed his West African School Certificate Examination in 1979 with Division 1. The trail of distinguished performances remained a constant companion as he graduated from the University of Calabar, Prof. State Nigeria in 1984 with a second-class upper division degree in chemistry. Chemical characterization and biology activity of carbazone and semi-carbazone condition metal complexes. After his National Youth Studies first team assignment, where he was a junior research fellow at the University of Ibadan in 1985, he joined the University of Calabar as a graduate assistant, being the first graduate of the department to be so appointed since its inception, and therefore began an impressive academic sojourn at this great study. Professor Offiong grew through the ranks and academy. He became a substantive professor of inorganic and correlation chemistry in 2002 at the age of 39. A feat that was very rare then and still uncommon now. This manifestation was the first alumnus of the Department of Chemistry, University of Calabar, to become a professor since it was established. He has published around 90 articles in local and international journals, as well as 2 books. He has presently 2,702 and 1,901 citations in Global Scholar and Scopus, respectively. Professor Offiong is a fellow of International Union Against Cancer. He has successfully supervised and graduated 16 PhD and 7 MSc students in inorganic, correlation chemistry, and related fields. One of the PhD theses won the National University Commission Prize for the best thesis in physical science here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, it will also interest you to know that five of his supervisors are professors, while 3 are associate professors in our universities. You can clap it up. As a good scholar, he has mentored several young and upcoming academics across the globe. His commitment to academic excellence, coupled with his generosity of spirit and willingness for collaboration, has earned him the respect and admiration of peers and students alike. From 1998, he started serving as visiting lecturer and visiting professor to many universities in the Department of Chemistry, including University of Offiong, Efanga University, National University of Technology, now Uniplus. His passion for teaching and mentorship has forged the lives of countless students, providing them with the guidance and support necessary to achieve their academic goals. Besides the passion and pull of academics, Professor Offiong's administrative sagacity has been tested and proven from the active and hands-on experiences in the university community. Apart from being the head of inorganic units in the Department of Chemistry, University of Calabar, he has served variously and meritoriously in the University of Calabar as the Dean, Student Affairs, Dean, Faculty of Science, Chairman, Students Welfare Board 2006, member, University of Calabar Reform Implementation Committee, RIG 2007, Chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, from 2000 to 2004, Zonal Coordinator of ASU from 2000 to 2005, National President of ASU from 2004 to 2006. Our inaugural lecturer has been a member of Senate of the University of Calabar from 1999 to date. Between 2000 and 2004, he played a pivotal role in the governing council of our great institution, serving in several sensitive committees such as Finance and General Purpose Committee of Council, Disciplinary Committee, Center for Educational Services Board, and the University of Calabar International Secondary School Governing Board. A thoroughbred professional, Professor Offiong has been actively engaged with the following bodies: Medical Society of Nigeria since 1986, Environmental Society of Nigeria since 1999, Editorial Board, Editorial Board, Global Science, and the Fellow of the International Union Against Switzerland. For research has made him an invaluable asset to his team. Professor Offiong's public service experiences are rich, penetrative, and diverse. He was the Principal State Commissioner of Education from 2007 to 2015. He was the Chairman, Education and Social Services Cluster, Principal State Government comprising 11 ministries and agencies. He was at various times the leader of the Principal State delegations on study tours to educational institutions in India, Finland, Highbury College, Portsmouth, and United Kingdom. A former chairman of State Commissioner for Education Board in Nigeria from 2009 to 2015, a member of the Presidential Task Team on Education, Professor Offiong has remained a lead consultant on many turnkey projects and environmental impact assessment team across the country. Some of assignments he was involved were the proposed Dangote salt refinery at Oregon, Lagos, and the marginal oil fields development projects for Midwestern Oil and Gas PLC, the Chorus Energy Limited, Enega Limited, Pillar Oil Limited, Platform Petroleum Limited, and Independent Energy Limited. Our inaugural lecturer today, who has attended several conferences across the continent in diverse fields of academic and public service endeavors, is an obvious stickler for academic integrity and excellence within and outside the university community. Since 2001, he has been an external examiner to several institutions, including the Polytechnic, the Polytechnic Calabar, Prof. University Calabar, alternate examiner, external examiner, Department of Chemistry, Benue State University, University of Offiong, Michael University, University of Nsukka, University of Abuja, Rivers State University, and many others. He has He has also served as an external assessor for the promotion of academics to the professoral cadre in several universities. He was very fellow of Berkeley International and immediate past president of the Bonds Brigade of Nigeria in Coastal State. Professor Offiong had the singular honor of being the keynote speaker at the World Teachers Day in 2002, as well as the Gasticennial Anniversary Lecturer of the Coastal Training Institution, Calabar. He is widely traveled and has visited and worked in many universities and laboratories abroad, including Italy, Germany, England, Finland, India, United States of America, to mention but few. Professor is a shining example of a true global citizen with a passport that tells the story of a distinguished and peripatetic academic who has traversed the globe, sharing his expertise and absorbing the wisdom of diverse cultures. Born in 1963, Professor Offiong is married to Professor Mrs. Ame Offiong Ni Emoeba, a professor of finance in the Department of Banking and Finance, University of Calabar. The union is blessed with 3 children, Engineer Offiong, Dr. Hassan Offiong, and Ms. Eme Offiong. Professor Offiong is a man of faith, a devoted Christian, and a ruling elder of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria. He is presently the chairman of the Presbyterian Educational Authority. One of the famous American philosophers, Ralph Waldo Emerson, once noted in Society and Solitude that we do not count a man years until there's nothing else to count. Knowing Professor Offiong and his pedigree, even beyond the field of inorganic chemistry, there's still so much to titrate and contribute to man and mankind that counting the age remains a powerful possibility. Madam Vice Chancellor, may I have the honor to invite Professor Offiong, Efanga, a professor of professors, whose passion for learning, is contagious. Of the University of Calabar, Professor Offiong, Offiong.
The Vice Chancellor and Chairman of this inaugural lecture, here represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Mrs. Efanga. Let me anchor on already established protocol for want of time. I would like to say a few words before I get into my lecture. This lecture reminds me of a discussion I had with a 3-year-old boy about 20 years ago. I went to what they call chemists, popularly called chemists, to pick an anti-malaria drug. And the boy apparently came from a medical facility to the chemist with the mother to pick anti-malaria as well as something to boost his immunity, what they call some iron tablets. And when the mother asked the person on the text that he wanted iron tablet, the boy asked the mother, iron? Iron 3 times pointed to the construction site that was beside the facility. And the mother said, it is not that one. He said, but that's what they call iron. So why do you want to give me iron? I was intrigued by this, and I sought to intervene by explaining to the young man a very simple experiment. I said, when you get home, look for any nail, which is iron, put it in a bottle that contains water, and leave it for some time. Keep monitoring it. You will see that nail will begin to rust, and the color of the water will turn gradually towards brown. That shows you that you have ions in that water. That every big substance you see, their final state is always very small, and that is what their body needs, the ions that come from that intake. Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to 183rd inaugural lecture. And this lecture has been asked severally about the meaning. And I think today at the end of this lecture, the meaning will be very clear to everybody. The lecture is titled Metal Ion in Biological and Environmental System, the good and the bad. And from the perspective of the coordination chemist, I am a coordination chemist, and the way I look at it may be different from the way my friends in the medical school looks at it, and it will be also different from the way somebody in the engineering looks at it. So I welcome you all. Please relax and enjoy as I take you through my work of chemistry. I thank the Heavenly Father for this day. I remember between 1985 when I was appointed as graduate assistant, I was just coming back from the NYC the weekend, and on Monday, I strolled into the department to check my mails, since I was still getting mails in the department. And I decided to pick in there, and behold, it was an appointment letter as the graduate assistant in the Department of Chemistry. And populated by a lot of experts, and I'm happy that a lot of what I then saw as a misfortune to be unit, and make some that history from that sort. Professors in inorganic chemistry as of today, some of them have also started producing many other doctors and PhD in inorganic chemistry. So I believe that God had a purpose for sending me to inorganic unit, and I give glory to God for all that I have achieved in that area. The 123 inaugural lecture is titled the metal ion in biochemical and environmental system, the good and the bad from the perspective of a coordination chemist. I will take you through the background briefly, explaining what is environmental system, what is biochemical system, and what constitutes ions and what makes them unique that I have to devote all this time to speak about ion. And then synthesis and characterization of seed pests and the development of metallo drugs. Just like drugs, but this time they are drugs that are based on the activity of metals. And the second trend of my research has to do with applying some of these compounds in the business of reversing corrosion. Lastly, application of the compound and also in related problems like pollution. So what is metal? Not like my small infant asked me that question. We are not interested about the metal makers in the road. We are straight within in our everyday life. But we are talking about that tiny level of metal in the environment that causes good and causes harm, which are the ions. Biochemical system has to do with the entire system that has to do with the cellular function, which all of us have, including plants, and also enzymatic activity that enables all the healthy food we need to be digested and broken down to give us energy and refill our body. And also maintaining even our body structure, the protein structure and function. When metals gain electron, which there are few of them that gain electron, they become what we call anions. But when they lose electron, they become cation. And most of our interaction, and which I will be referring to in this lecture, has to do with the cations. So we have many of them. Metals are there. And we stay in plants. And also, we see them as part of the weathering process in rocks and also industrial pollution and pollution. The distribution and asphyxiation of this metal in the environment like air and water, soils significantly impact their bioavailability. How are they available to us to the extent of beginning to constitute hazard to our health? Or how are they available to us towards ensuring our overall well-being? And how are they available to us to such a high level that they begin to harm us and we say they are toxic? So all these are some of the issues that surrounds metal in the biochemical system. Now, where do I come in as a coordination chemist? I come in as a coordination chemist because the process through which metals combine with certain molecules, including even in the biochemical system, is through metal ligand bond. So they form a strong bond, and these bonds we refer to them as Lewis bond. And that bond is by virtue of the fact that they are cations and they accept lone pair of electrons from the molecules which we refer to as Lewis phase. And this is very prevalent both in the environment, in the biological system, and even the basis for their therapeutic applications. We use them because ability to maneuver their reaction, either by reducing their excesses in the body, by subjecting them to coordination with stronger molecules that will displace them and remove them from the molecule. And then lastly, we also use them for corrosion inhibition. So exploring the dual nature of metal, I like both their benefits is really the core of this discussion. The detrimental effects are the one we call the good, and the beneficial effects are the one we call the good road. So by adopting coordination chemist point of view, we will be able to delve into the intricacies of metal ion behavior, examining their occurrence, sources, beneficial effect, detrimental effect, and the collaborative research area that seek to address the challenge posed by this metal ion. And I purposely put this collaborative research because most of us in the medical schools or in the biosciences will be wondering what is this hard is talking about biological activity, therapeutic effects, because there is collaboration between me and some of our experts in this field. So there are two types of metals as we discuss. We'll have the ones we call essential metals. The essential metals are also grouped into two. The ones you call the macro essential metal, and sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium comes in here. They are macro nutrients because or light concentration. And that's why the body doesn't need that much, but they play a very important role in the body, such as iron, zinc, and copper. And we call them micronutrients. Some books, some areas call the trace element. There are ones you don't see very essential in the body. Even if they are there at very tiny level, the body may tolerate them, but they don't play any essential role. And they include lead. It's associated with us in our everyday life. I won't say you by mentioning some of the products we use now that contain lead, mercury, arsenic, and cadmium. Most of the battery we use in our car is made up of cadmium. I'm sure that most of us knows when the battery has a problem, it brings out not too pleasant odor. So that is a warning sign for you. So what are the sources of these metals in our chemical system? And water that we consume daily. Now we take diet that is plants that have already been polluted or were planted in a polluted soil. That the metal ion there will not easily disappear, they will remain. And we will consume them, they will be part of our body. And if we also drink water that is not up to standard, it will also pollute our body. Then we also have the environmental, the air we breathe, the aerosol, the particulate matter, they all contain metal ion. And then this is the soil. It serves as a sink. All that we do, we run all the soak away, everything in our house goes to the soil. And then lastly, industrial exposure, where we have some occupation around us that uses minerals that are very high in metals, So those flakes that we find suspended in the atmosphere is not just flakes, they also contain metal. Now, why do metal play the role they play? Also, in the lab, we see all this behavior of metal. We see the way they react. The way they react in the lab is the way they will also react in the body. Sometimes we have a way of moderating them to some extent, and sometimes the body has a way of accelerating them. So the metals react in so many ways, and they participate in a number of chemical reactions. Some of them are catalysis, which may be beneficial to man, like, for example, the composition of peroxide, where manganese is used, and many other metal ion, like in the biological system, you have zinc-2 involved in carboxyl peptidase and carbonic anhydrase. These are enzymes that you need that play a very critical physiological role in the body. Now, you also have another very important type of reaction performed by metal, the oxidation reduction reaction, mostly by transition metal, the copper that I mentioned earlier. And then the last one is the Lewis acidity, which is my major interest for relation chemistry. So, generally, we see that the nature of metal has a profound influence on their chemical reaction, biochemical, and environmental processes. The behavior of metal ion as a Lewis acid is of particular interest to a coordination chemist. Now, I want to show two skeletal have hemoglobin, that's what we are taught from primary school, hemoglobin, that enables us to breathe. What hemoglobins are at the unit level, they are coordination compound. So we can see metal at the center there, ion 2, and in the other one you can also see that it has oxygen on top of it. That oxygen is bonded to that ion. It is that the presence of the ion that enables the oxygen to be carried from the lung to the different parts of the body. Now, why coordination compound of interest in organic chemistry? In medicine, we are involved in a lot of synthesis of new metabolic drugs, and they are also important in material science and technology. They are also very important in other branches of chemistry, like even in organic. Most organic people depend on most of the coordination compound. And in our chemical system, we've already talked about hemoglobin and photosynthesis pigment, which we call chlorophyll. And also in corrosion and in the environment, monitoring and removal of metal ion can be achieved with the knowledge of coordination chemistry. And we can also use this as a way of storing energy. These days, there seems to be a trend towards exploration and exploitation of lithium. Lithium is used in doing what we call all these small packets that you put in a lot of portable energy sources. And they are essentially metal complexes where lithium is involved. So therefore, in this lecture, we will be examining the role of metal ion in the chemical system, the good and the bad. The role are determined by nature and various reactions. So it's not just because they are metal. The kind of reactions they undergo is what determines how bad or how good they are. Metal ions play a crucial role in various biochemical systems. We talk about enzyme catalysis. There are many of them. With due respect to those who are not here, who are not chemists, I won't go more into detail of this, but I know this will be of interest to my colleagues in the medical school, etc. So we proceed. And in protein structure and maintenance, they help to maintain this firm protein structure that enables us to have the very beautiful and glorious logos that we wear every day. And also regulating protein activity, gene regulation, these are all the role iron play. And they're helping the gene regulation through their binding with the biological biomolecules such as DNA and RNA. And then the therapeutic application, this is where I come in here. So on their own, they show some therapeutic effects. Some of these therapeutic effects may not be good enough. So we all try to, as a foundation, to improve on this and make them to even be better than some of the existing antimicrobial drugs. So either it is antibacterial or antifungal or antiviral. And then anti-cancer. A well-known medical compound is cisplatin, which was used to treat various cancer, and carboplatin that has been used in the treatment of ovarian cancer and testicular cancer. These are all medical complexes. And then it's also deployed in diagnostic tools, in MRI, and also positron emission tomography, PET. Environmental remediation, how does it help us to have a better environment? So we can use the metal containing compound, the metal complexes towards something, a hard water or a water that is heavily contaminated. And this process is what we call chelation therapy. And that same process is what is used in removing metal poisoning in the body. We use chelation therapy. And we can also use some metal ion to enhance phyto extraction, like nickel and zinc. And then we also have wastewater treatment. Most of us are familiar with what is a very common product known as iron. We put it in water to precipitate that water. That process is simply causing some organic molecule to grab the metal ion in that water, and they are suspended and precipitated, so you are then able to filter them out. Then we also have what we call advanced oxidation. Sometimes there are some organic matter in the environment that are very stubborn. We call them persistent organic pollutants. And then we have to deploy metal ion to break them further. Now, let's go to this one, the metal effects to role of metal ion. These are the ones that is very difficult to determine the role, their level, that they begin to give us problems that we call them bad. So we generally consider them as toxic metal. Mercury, lead, arsenic, cadmium, chromium 3, mercury 2, arsenic 3, and cadmium 2 also help to generate the free radicals in our body. And a lot of us at a certain age, we are conscious of the free radicals that are generated in our body. So metal can also contribute towards increasing the free radicals in our body. I'm sorry, just one more before I go. So we identified some toxic effects, neurotoxicity, carcinogenicity, nephrotoxicity, that is affect the kidney. And so you can see effect on the kidney. Now in the next video, we'll explain further. I hope you can see it well. So you see, these are all the effects that surround us as man. And these are effects that we can avoid with the proper control of the heavy metals we have in the environment. And here we can see even better ranges from liver problems, skin infection, neurological problems, lungs, intravascular immune cysts, stomach problems, kidney problems. And of interest is that these are tissues in the body that are soft tissues. And the reason is that most of these metals are lipophilic. They seek where there is fat or liquid. They penetrate faster. They love those areas. And those areas are therefore the target for these heavy metals. We call toxic metal. Now, metal itself has been used as medicine. It started by the Egyptian scientists where they use crude metal, iron metal. They put it in water, like I explained to that my infant, and after a year, sometimes it would have roasted heavily, and they drink it directly. That was the way of addressing anemia then. And the ancient Greek and Hebrew also continue extending this to other metals, including zinc, silver, lithium. Then it was about 1970 that the first cancer containing metal drug was discovered, which is the cisplatin, 1971. So this became a revolutionary point in the involvement of metal in medicine. So you have carboplatin that follows oranopine, which is gold, rheumatoid arthritis was cured by this, and silver was used to treat burns and wounds. And but what they didn't know, which they didn't study, was the mode of their reaction, the mode of action. So it was until recently that the mode of this action of the metal drugs started to captivate the attention of scientists, and in particular coordination chemists. And one of the main compound when it comes to metal drug was this cheap test. It was invented by a German scientist, and it has a very interesting functional group known as azomethyl group. And it is prepared by a very simple method of condensing carbonyl compound with primary alkene compound. Very simple, but yet had a lot of very potential. And this is where I will anchor my line of research. And for me, my interest was on thousand carbazone as one of the species. And you can see there are some functional group there with carbon nitrogen double bond. And another example is hydrazone. You can see carbon nitrogen double bond as well. And in addition to the carbon nitrogen double bond, it has the nitrogen bond which persists. And the interesting thing about this hydrazone is that it can coordinate using nitrogen, oxygen. And sometimes this mimics some of the biological bound molecules, the way they exist. And that is why it will easily interact with them to effect some therapeutic action. Then you have semi-carbazons, and you can see the carbon-carbon double bond there, where you have R1, R2, and then you see another oxygen bond there. So these atoms I'm mentioning are very important because they are ones that form what we can call bond around metal. They bond with metal. And sometimes these bonds are very stable. Now, these compounds are being characterized in several ways. Spectral physical method, the melting point, simple physical method, chemical method, sometimes elemental method, and then the highly instrumental method involves infrared, and these days we use Fourier transform infrared, electronic, and inform decisions on the ways and means of the interaction in the biochemical system. In the course of my research, I've synthesized about 3,000 of these novel compounds, and involving alpha-beta-hydrogen, hydrogen, amino acid sequence, and trazole. And I'll quickly run through some of them. And my contribution to the knowledge in the field of coordination chemistry and application involved this synthesis primarily first. And I use what we call aromatic base and heterocyclic base alpha-beta-hydrogen. Aromatic are simply the ones that have benzene, and I'm sure many of us who have gone through science we are familiar with benzene. And then heterocyclics are the ones that look like benzene, but they have other atoms involved, not carbon, like nitrogen or oxygen. So we call them heterocyclic because those other atoms have part of the carbon ring. So we have done this research published with my colleague in Italy initially, and we've done quite a lot of these synthesis, but just want to summarize some of the factors we have come out as that which affect their biological activity. First, we've seen that the atomic functional group is very critical in the biological activity, very, very critical. And that is why all these key bases need to show one form of activity or the other. And then we have, when we substitute, remove some of the hydrogen there and substitute it with other molecules or atoms, we see that there is some effect also. And we try to explain this effect basically on the basis of chemical concepts. And then what's important is the stability of the metal bond. This metal ligand bond is what explains a lot of their ability to do so many things, either as active, bioactive element, or as corrosion inhibitor, etc. And then we also see that those compounds that are rich the photophilic are the ones that give better results. So these are some of the compounds we have done with due respect to those who are not chemists and may not dwell too much on this. Okay, this is their nature, and this is the X-ray picture of them. Now, why do I have to go to this? Is because I want to see actually their molecular level, how they look like. So we have prepared quite a number of these complexes, including zinc, copper, nickel, manganese, vanadium, also vanadium-2, palladium-2, platinum, iridium-3, and rhodium-3. It's quite a broad spectrum of the periodic table. But some of them are very expensive. Our thinking is to have things that will be cost effective. And so we zero down on some of the relatively cheaper metal ions, zinc, nickel, copper. And we found that copper too was the most active of all of them. And while we recognize the very active activity of the ones we call platinum, nickel, palladium, platinum, 2, rhodium-3, and iridium-3, because of the extra effect they get, like anti-malaria effect. The challenge is that they are very expensive metal ions. So these are some of the compounds. And when you pick up the copy of the play, you have explained this in further details. So these are some of the compounds. These are amino acids. And why we consider amino acid was amino acid is part of the building block of protein. And we found it's already a biological building block. So if we happen to have a drug that is based on amino acid, then it becomes perfectly okay without challenge of toxicity or not being very in the body. So now another very interesting group I have set on are the hydrazones and their metal complexes. And I've already explained earlier on the apart from having the azomethane of the hydrozones also have very stable nitrogen bond. We've done an extensive work with them. You can see them with oxygen, nitrogen coordinating atoms. These are some of their X-ray data, our structure, sorry. This is also part of the X-ray structure, detail of which I have explained further there. And this is still part of them, nicotinic hydrozone. Nicotinic is a very important compound, despite the fact that the name may sound like nicotine, but it has a lot of biological application. Sometimes it is used also as antihypertensive drug, and also reported is salicylaldehyde and tranilic acid. Now, the last group of compound we focus on extensively were the triazole. Actually, I started looking at this compound after my professorship because I was started working with carbazole, hydrazone, and others. And the triazoles had basically a recycled compound. Because of the prominent effects of those heterocyclic compounds, based and carbazole, I felt it would be unique to look at only triazole alone. And we obtained a very interesting result. And some of this has been reported also in very high impact journals. And as a matter of fact, some of them are undergoing also further clinical tests and trial and some token. So these are some of your X-ray data. These are some of your X-ray data. You can also look at the I will talk because this is really interesting area we can discuss and with contribution to the environmental system. Like I said, my aim here was to look at the level of metal ion in the environment and actually centered on water and soil. And the common metal ion in soil I have listed in there: lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, chromium, zinc, nickel, copper, molybdenum, etc. These metals occur at various levels in the environment. But the international community has set standards to guide us. So WHO has its own standard, which was amended last 1984. And NEFRA in Nigeria has its own standard. And also EPA, Environmental Protection Agency in the United States, has its own standard. And what is the essence of this standard? Is to enable us not to allow the level of this metal ion to exceed this level. Because once they exceed the level, they become hazardous to us. And we try to do, me and my friend in geology, I think we should be here. We will talk about that later. We went on a well venture in those days to go to all the natural water in Apalu, Bakassi, and Obipani. And we made very interesting discovery that this water will carry good water. Using the tolerance provision index, heavy metal provision evaluation, contamination index, and heavy metal provision index. This is very low as far as the water from this natural water, both the surface water that are easily prone to contamination, and also the groundwater. They were at least, as far as this parameter is concerned, they were quite acceptable, and their level was below the WHO permitted level. their quality, not any sources. So metal ion in soil. We also try to focus on soil, and I have to break with one of my former PhD students to do this, because at the time in our Bible state, it seems they were using different farmland to dispose most of the solid waste, and it was of interest to us to see how that had affected the soil quality. And essentially in your back or non-economic, and we found that they were quite high in lead, nickel, and chromium. And there was a direct impact of the waste dump on this soil. And we also, from the result, confirmed that lead and chromium were primarily from anthropogenic sources. All the unused electronic, unused metal, all kinds of things people were dumping in on the waste, on the farmland. When eventually some of those solid waste were evacuated, the soil has already absorbed the metal. But we also noted that nickel and iron were actually from the natural source, that is reflecting the geology of the place. And we felt there was need for us to address this. This has been, we have also taken care of this in our recommendation. The third trend of my research work is the corrosion inhibition. I'd like to pay particular tribute to one of us who God had called earlier on to his never present Professor U.J. But when I finished my PhD, he made me to have also an interest in corrosion inhibition. And we started using some of my compound to say, what is the danger of corrosion? I know one of the experts in corrosion is saying will dwell also in it, but for me, as an environmentalist and as a chemist, pollution involves getting aware of metals. And when these metals are worn out, they go into the environment as ions. So some of them include mercury 2, lead 2, cadmium 2, chromium 3, and arsenic 3. So where they go to? They move in the environment at such a high speed. So if a corrosion is here in the library this year, don't be surprised that you will find it in Utrecht next year. The geology shows the dynamic of the hydraulics that we are talking about. So that is why we need to discourage the dumping of solid waste in our environment. And we have used some of my compounds to investigate this, and we found out that my compounds were able to inhibit this corrosion of metals. And we've done some good work with this, and we have also seen that the functional group and the electronic structure of this compound were related to their efficiency. So we've worked with so many thousand mechanisms, and I have already detailed some of them in the book. But again, we need the structure because we use the structure to come out with the mechanism of the inhibition. And this is a very interesting compound, simple but very high inhibition efficiency. Alpha purifying, which has an OH group. And I wonder what gives the ability to form such a strong bond with metal. And we've seen that it has a very strong ability to inhibit corrosion of metal, which follows the resorption process. We looked at also the mechanism of corrosion inhibition involving nitrogen and sulfur for the electric compounds. Those compounds that uses nitrogen and sulfur to bond with metals. And we found out that there seems to be an order So, and most of us may not be familiar with some of these compounds, so please let me pass for now. So these are some of my compounds we have used. So if you take a copy of that book, you'll be able to see some further broken down this explanation paper also there. So the interesting thing is that these compounds are able to bond to the metal. And that is why they are able to inhibit the corrosion of the metal. And those that have a recycling ring, remember, I started by saying I'm using aromatic-based compound and isocyclic-based compound. The ones that have isocyclic ring we found again to do better than the other those that have aromatic. So they seem to have a correlation between corrosion inhibition as well as antimicrobial activity. So we also use hydrazone to do this as well. And this gave us very interesting results. So we then decided to go into detailed structural analysis of the hydrazone to really see how this hydrazone inhibits this compound. And we found out that it has very interesting functional groups and the ability to inhibit the corrosion was due to the presence of those functional groups. So, the major advantage of seed-based in corrosion inhibition is that they are very convenient to prepare or synthesize, and they are relatively cheap. So if we are able to develop it to an international standard, we are also in a position to export this. But the active ingredient here is the asomethine functional group it has. And we find out that if we are able to order coordination, oxygen will be less than nitrogen, and nitrogen will be less than sulfur, and sulfur will be less than phosphorus. So the major seedbeds we have used are dalcenicabazole, cenicabazole, and hydrazone. Now, let me go to what has been my contribution. Apart from research, it's not all research that I've been doing. And I'm sure that God has used me to do more than research. So, apart from research, which I told you has given me about 89 articles published in the international, and a few of them in local journals. As I stand today, I think I have 2,708 citations in Google Scholar. And 24 pages. And I also have 52 documents in Scopus with 1,900 citations. I have been 9 years old in the University of Calabar. If you calculate from September to today, September last year made me 39 years in this university. 22 years of this 29, I have been a full professor. And I've been involved in teaching so many people, not just chemistry people, but I'm sure that anybody who did science, whether agri, medical school, I'm passed through this university from 1990. I must have taught the in year 1 chemistry or in year 2. So I've also written 2 books which were very useful to the students. I've been the funding Dean of Faculty of Science, Dean of Students, I'm member of the governing council of my university. When I was the dean, one of the things that interested me most was to bring about law. And I respected the father and locked them away. That was the time we did some spectacular work at the national level. I think Professor Iko is here. Chemistry is one department that has won the best places in Nigerian university. First was Professor Iko, and the second was my student. So the first outing that attracted technology development fund. That is why we have the applied chemistry club there. And this has also helped me to, I work with Len Professor Support to do that. Now, my research has addressed the sustainable development goal, the SDG goal. 72% of my research population are also with top international benchmark, and 77% of my research document are cited in top 25 most cited documents worldwide. 6 of the SDG goals have been addressed by my research work. And we see the good health and well-being. 1, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. 7, affordable and clean energy. And 11, sustainable city and community life below water and partnership for goal 17. I have also personally contributed to the physical development of the university, and I personally furnished a seminar room developed to standard, which was used also by the faculty. And I have also developed some of the curriculum that we are using in the department. But the last 2 curricular development was chaired by me. And I have also chaired the first basic minimum academic standard for postgraduate studies in Nigerian University in 1978. I chaired the chemistry section. I have produced 5 professors, and we will tell you some of them are also in the team. Professor Ali was the immediate partner of our faculty, and Professor Alon transition metal ion mostly combined with speed bases to form 7 metal complexes, which in biochemical systems interact with biomolecules to exert therapeutic effect. The future of drug is promising, with ongoing research focus on developing new ones, more effective and less toxic metal-based drugs. I have, my second thing is remediation and prevention strategy for environmental pollution. And I have seen the role of metal here very, very prominent in mitigating the effects of metal ion contamination and protecting the environment from the environment and human health. This includes waste disposal management to the level of metal ion release, soil amendment such as the use of appropriate latent agent, as well as transforming immobilized metal ion. Some of those metal ions that are there in most of our sediment, they are immobilized because they don't move easily. And they continue to contaminate aquatic life. Most of us love terrestrial and other sediment, domiciliary aquatic animals. They have been found to be heavily loaded with this heavy metal. Madam Vice Chancellor, the next range of my contribution is in the area of development of novel steel-based metal complex for effective corrosion inhibition. Steel-based have a unique molecular structure and combines it with the property of the meat and aldehyde, so making them form stable bond with metal and thereby preventing corrosion. And we'll move on. It is further anticipated that as the research continues towards addressing the above challenge and exploring several new steel-based metal companies can become more effective and widely adopted solution for protecting metal analog from corrosion, with significant implications for industries such as construction, transport, and energy. As we move forward, it is crucial that we continue to explore the complexity of metal ion chemistry and its far-reaching implications. This lecture has merely scratched the surface of the vast and fascinating realm of metal ion chemistry. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the world of metal ion chemistry. I look forward to continuing this conversation and exploring more the exciting possibilities that this field has to offer. And I'm going to make a recommendation. The first, I'm recommending that we take on the need for us to sustain the culture of collaborative research. And the second recommendation is for us to be conscious of routine monitoring of the quality of our environment. And the third is that we should be the advocate of discouraging people dumping solid waste in our cultivated land. Acknowledgement. I acknowledge the Almighty God for seeing me through this journey. I couldn't have done it without him. His divine providence and blessing has enabled me to achieve several academic milestones. And I would like to also acknowledge my late parents who instilled in me the need to believe and cherish education. That was the only thing they told me will see me through to any way in this world. So their guidance and support, encouragement to me, I can see was priceless. I am grateful to my loving wife. I would like to pray your indulgence, Madam Vice Chancellor, that I will invite my wife to stand. I know what she passed through in this my research work. My first son, Efanga, my first daughter, Dr. Ata. Efanga is an engineer, Ata is a medical doctor, and my personal pharmacist is they have been really wonderful, and I love you all. Please sit down. And I'd like to also acknowledge my brothers, my siblings. Efanga is a Lagos crewmate of Elder is here. Please, you may be outstanding. Dr. Ngora is here. Ngora Offiong is here. Yes, he's in Europe. He's an ENT surgeon. So I think my father is resting well wherever he is now. I'd like to also recognize and welcome my mother-in-law, Professor M.I. Kutumu. He is one of those who actually made me to become a lecturer. Please, I didn't know her daughter at that time. But God used her. Let me also recognize Professor, a Professor here. When he said I should be a lecturer in inorganic chemistry, I didn't like it. But I think I thank God for what God has given me. I thank Professor Efanga is late now, but they are so rest in peace. I thank Professor U.J. Bob. He told me he would try to make it, but I can understand. Professor Alfredo is late. That was another inorganic chemist that I studied under. Professor John Offiong was my analytical chemistry teacher and who gave me 2.5 higher education notebook and we were still coming. Professor Oyepa, another fantastic organic teacher, these were very kind teacher. But let me recognize my teacher in secondary school, mathematics. I'm sure most of you would not know Professor Ipo of geography. That was my geography teacher in secondary school in class 2. And I think most of us in whole world will remember him. So let me also recognize my other external supervisor, Professor Sanjay Matali of the University of Cameroon, Italy, Professor Henry Norton of University of Munich. They actually put me through how to be a researcher. And then Professor Schmidt of the University of Essen, Germany, Professor Mike Horsehouse. I kept telling him I don't want to call him Mike. He said that's the name I should call him Mike. So they were very fantastic people. I thank all these international organizations for the grant they gave to me. I think that my youthful career as inorganic chemistry was blessed. And I thank also the Department of Chemistry, who has always provided a very homely environment for many of us that are there. The comradeship that we have established truly is the reason for us to engage, as the BBC has said, with a lot of fantastic impact that we are creating in the world. And I congratulate all of you, and please, we must keep up with this. Now, let me recognize my PhD students. They were guinea pigs this time under me. Professor Ali Ali, who was this my citation reader, was my first PhD student. Professor Emmanuel Fong is a professor in the University of Guyana in Cameroon, and he's doing very well in Cameroon. Those publications are also with some of my other students in Cameroon with him. Dr. Anthony Johnson, Dr. Godwin Ebong, Dr. Emmanuel Okoro is here. They have to stand up. Dr. Stephen Adan is also here. Please stand up wherever you are. Dr. Batina is here. The son of Dr. Tita Okoro. And I think I've not mentioned all these are some of the people God has also used to train. Most of my research is dealing with the people in the physical unit. So you have Professor Benzo, he's watching us online now. He's in South Africa. We have doesn't work together with Offiong. And let me also recognize, I think somebody has got on something. Professor Peter Ocampo, Professor Professor Francis Apasi. These were later colleagues of mine that joined towards the end. And we have worked together with Professor Peter Ocampo, the BBC research. I salute all of you. I also like to recognize my special friend. We started this life together. I am Professor Isesien. We were admitted into the same year. This is actual place. When you wish to stand up. So we started together, and our friendship is still blossom. So, Professor Inaugural is here. God has carried us to so many places, even in Germany, we met again. Some of the photographs we see us trying to enjoy the weather in Germany. And Dr. James Eden, who let us join your company. Well, we lost one day last year, Elder Offiong, may so rest in peace. I want to welcome all my Presbyterian brothers and sisters, and with special thanks to my minister in charge. I saw the boss there, most Reverend Joe Zibala. We have come to other associate ministers there. You are welcome. And I also know that Privilege was supposed to be here, but he's attending a crusade in Port Harcourt. We have already apologized for that. His Eminence, Dr. Offiong of Panita. I'd like to thank all my elders, fellow elders who are here, and all members of the Presbyterian in all parishes, and as well as my brothers and sisters from the Efanga. I recognize my Tubon-elect, retired Justice Charles Achibong, and other brothers from the Efanga who are here. You are welcome. And I hope by the time you go back, you'll be able to decide whether I have disappointed you in this surgery. My final time to invite Chancellor. Let me show you, there is a time group, the Offiong of Calabar Executive Forum, please, and the Tubon Traditional Rulers Council, and is here represented by one of my Tubon here. So I cannot fail to recognize them as a typical song. So I recognize the chairman of OCF and the members of OCF who have found time to be here. And also appreciate the Tubon Traditional Ruling Council for sending a representative here. I really appreciate it. Thank you. My special thanks and appreciation goes to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Florence Bangobi, who has, during his tenure, has actually sustained the academic culture. So well done, Vice Chancellor. I want to also appreciate all the principal officers. I think that almost all the principal officers are here. Admin, who is representing the Vice Chancellor, the DBC Academic, the DBC Research. This is my own, with due respect. And we will tell that to another day. It was admitted into biology, and he came to me after one of my classes and said, sir, I want to do chemistry. I said, let's go now. And that is how it happened. And we changed to chemistry. I give glory to God that today, Professor Peter Ocampo is doing a lot of wonderful things. I want to thank all the principal officers, especially, and also the Director, Senior Establishment. I've been talking him. Today, I think we are good friends after today. My sincere gratitude. Finally, I am overwhelmed with gratitude as I look out at this incredible gathering of relation, colleagues, family, friends. You are present here today has made this truly special and is a testament to the power of community connection and connection. And I think God has designed it so. And I'm deeply grateful to every one of you for being part of this journey with me. Thank you. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Well done, Prof. That was fine. And thank God that we are all standing up. Because I wanted to say the non-metal ions in our bodies will begin to react. We are sad for more than work. So you see that ladies and gentlemen, once again, permit me to invite the chairman of this occasion to step forward for presentation of the lecture notes by the inaugural lecturer and also appreciation by the lecturer through the exchange of memento.
The Vice Chancellor represented here by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration. I wish to present to you my inaugural lecture. The role of metal ion in our chemical and environmental system, the good and the bad, from the perspective of the coordination chemistry. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
This is a memento presented to Professor Offiong, Efanga Offiong, the 133 inaugural lecturer of the University of Calabar, by the chairman, on behalf of the chairman, Dr. Lawrence Bamboli, today, 8th January 2025.
Let me at this point invite the chairman, Committee of Deans, Professor Ekaitenan, to give a vote of thanks.
The Vice Chancellor, here represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol to make my votes of thanks. First of all, I want to thank the Almighty God for ushering all of us into this new year to witness this presentation by our erudite professor. I thank the 110th inaugural lecturer, who is our Prof. The professor of professors and a mentor of excellence. Like he rightly said, beyond chemistry, he has mentored us. And today, we say, Prof, thank you for you. If you pay take attention to the inaugural lecture today, you will, there is one thing I want you to take home. We said that metal ions are only poisonous. That means they are in the soil, in the environment, even in our bodies. And that depending on the quantity in your body and the toxicity of the ones in your body, it can be very harmful. But as we rise up from here, he made some very powerful recommendations. And one of the ones I want us to take home is as we go back to our communities, as we go back to our environment, let's discourage people from indiscriminate dumping of solid waste. I want to appreciate the Vice Chancellor for always giving us this opportunity. Twice a month, we gather like this to talk to ourselves and to also educate ourselves. Please convey our sincere thanks to the Vice Chancellor. Team, all the deputy Vice Chancellors are here. We appreciate, most especially, like I said, and they go very bad and they become barriers. Our dear Professor, the Vice Chancellor of AXU, for picking that road. If you have ever traveled to outside of recently, you will appreciate the efforts that he has put into the here. Prof, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the members of Senate. Our dear Professor, she's always here, backing us up. Man, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the members of the Committee of Peace and members of the University of Calabar Senate, especially those that give it fit to work for this occasion. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming. And also on this side, we appreciate the friend of the inaugural lecturer, my own very Professor Ayi. Thank you for helping us to introduce Professor Offiong. We appreciate the family of the inaugural lecturer, the children, and our dear professor, the mother-in-law of Professor Offiong, who is also one of us in the Faculty of Physical Sciences. We appreciate and we thank the royal fathers in the house, the spiritual fathers in the house, members of the Presbyterian community that are here. And before they stone me when I get back to my faculty, I want to give your indulgence to ask the HOD of pure and industrial chemistry to stand up for recognition. And I also want to especially appreciate all the staff and students of the Faculty of Physical Sciences, including my humble self, for the gifts of Professor Offiong to the university community. We appreciate ourselves. And we want to thank especially the members, the staff of the information units of the university, the staff of the development units for the work that they have been doing behind the scene. We appreciate who grant you joining places from God bless you.
We come to the end of this exercise. Permit me once again call on the Vice Chancellor and Chairman of this session, ably represented by our own very Professor Enonta, DPC, again, to make a closing remarks.
I have come with my paper and my pen. So, can we have our exam now? How many minutes? You are very fortunate because we don't want the ions to overwhelm us. But, at the beginning, I did promise you that we'll have a nice time and that you will learn. I have learned a lot. What are the things I have learned? For example, when we talk about copper, I remember that we used to have copper wires stolen from practically everywhere. I thought they were just for people to make ornaments, earrings, and stuff. Now I'm beginning to think that perhaps, given how expensive medical drugs are, perhaps they're also trying to use them for that. Is that something about the ledge and the pollution of some places? I don't know whether to continue eating. I had already begun pockets. But, and he also said something. Incidentally, I'm from online, and he said that the pollution status was so bad. I said, oh, now we have to go to an IDP. But he gave me hope. He also said that he's been working on corrosion inhibitors, and that is the future. So, although I deserve to get 100%, but I didn't know what I was in school. It has aroused my interest. As it was an inaugural lecture goes, becoming open mind, ready to just speak into whatever our colleagues have been doing. And I tell you, each time we attend, I get to know so much more, to understand better, and to appreciate not just the lecturer, but also God. For ultimately, that knowledge is the one that has blessed you. And for that, we say, God, to you be all the glory. Thank you very much, my brothers and sisters, all the various groups that have been identified. I am the mighty, my colleagues, friends, family of the lecturer, but especially our 133 inaugural lecturer for making us proud to be medical, to be Nigerians, and to be children of God. Thank you. Thank you so much. Having very standing applause. Just a quick one. I'll do a very fast one for this recognitions. May I recognize the immediate past lecturer University is Gabriel Amy. Please put your hands together for your sister there. Immediate past 70 Vice Chancellor, Academic Professor Angela Ayerita, allegedly I saw her. Please put your hands together for her. Former Deputy Governor of Prof. His Excellency, is your call. Please put your hands together for him. May I recognize the present former state chairman of PDP, Utufan Elu. Put your hands together. The immediate former chief protocol to the governor chief, Emmanuel Asipo. The chief with cross-transit council, friendly rights, honorable Hilary Dixon. Is sorry to our dear Chancellor. Voice Brigade of Nigeria, please are all recognized. Chairman Local Government Service Commission is a director. Efanga. Chief Asipo Asuko Sabata, please are recognized. Other is Afanga, you recognize. May I recognize the Chairman Contract States Civil Service Commission, Sam Morris, everyone, please are recognized. Chairman Kalamata Local Government, Ilya Pastor Patrick. Archibald. Please are all recognized. Can we put our heads together for them? At this point, may I recognize and introduce to you our next inaugural lecturer, the 134th inaugural lecturer. She is a professor of midwifery, and she's no other person than Professor Efanga in Sienimo. Can we put our heads together for her? 134th inaugural lecture. Please stay time and stay venue in the next 2 weeks. At this point, I request members of the High Table to please go down and have a group photograph. Immediately after that, we take the university
of cannabis. This doesn't mean we should leave the hall. We shouldn't leave the hall. Thank you so much. Please do not leave the hall. Family rights. Family rights as we take the University of Cannabis home. Family rights. Thank you so much. Section. Can we please say the aisle, please?
I gave you now. This one.
Members of the high table, take the lead. All professors and group officials. Thank you so much. Please say the aisle. Thank you.